Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a contour and highlight routine. This video will work for all face shapes. I kind of go over a lot of different tips and tricks. I did a video on how to contour a round face shape, but since then I've kind of changed the way that I do it, and I've had a lot of requests for what I've been doing differently. So if you haven't seen that video, I will link it down below in the description box in case you're curious. But if you want to see something a little bit more natural, using less products and something way quicker, then keep on watching. Okay, so I already have my base on. If you want a full tutorial on what's on my face right now, I will link to my no foundation routine video up here, and I will link it down below in case you're curious what's on my face currently. So what I like to do first is bronze my face. I get questions all the time about what the difference is between bronzing and contouring, and honestly, it's all about the technique. So I'm gonna first go into the Bronze Goddess bronzer from Estee Lauder. I'm in the shade medium. It's one of my favorite bronzers because it is more of a red tone, and the red tone is going to make you look a little bit more like you've actually been out in the sun. You got a little pink, but in a good way. My favorite brush for this is the Tom Ford bronzer brush. Now, this bronzer brush is stupid expensive, but it is magic. If you're looking for a great bronzer brush that doesn't cost a bajillion dollars, I for years have loved the Real Techniques blush brush, but I use it for bronzer. So either one of these I highly recommend. I love them. Today I'm going to be using the Tom Ford bronzer brush just because it is my current favorite. So now with bronzing, you can put them in contour areas, you can put them all over the face, it's totally up to you. Just think of it as more of a broad area. So I kind of bring it over here and I bring it in on the forehead a little bit more, just so that it gives a little bit of color. Then I bring it around on the cheek, and I actually feather it down on the face all over and down my neck. So basically what I just did is I just warmed up my complexion. I made it look like I had a little bit more color rather than being so pale. Typically the bronze areas are on the cheeks, the tip of the nose, forehead, stuff like that, but you can do it wherever you want. So now we're gonna get into contouring. My personal favorite product for contouring is one of my powders from this Makeup Forever palette. This is a custom made palette. You can buy these individually. This is the S116 powder from Makeup Forever, and this is my favorite product for contouring. It is a little bit more cool toned. I'm gonna compare it next to the Estee Lauder bronzer so you can see the color differences. The Makeup Forever one is definitely more cool. It goes a little bit more on the gray side, where this one is more warm and it goes more on the red side. I hope that sort of makes sense. When you bronze, you can use a contour powder for bronzing. You could use a shimmer product for bronzing. The only thing when it comes to contouring is you most likely would want to use something matte. The reason for that is that a contour product is supposed to create a shadow on the face, and when you have something that's more shimmery, that's gonna make something pop a little bit more. So you normally wouldn't put a shimmery product where you'd have a shadow just because it would be kind of clashing with each other. So you could have a matte bronzer and a shimmer bronzer, but typically for contouring, you would want to use a matte product. If you have any other questions on the difference between bronzing and contouring, please let me know down below. My favorite brush for contouring the last few months has been the NARS Ita brush. This is a very old school product that was popular a long time ago, and I just decided to use it again, and I realized how amazing it actually is. I love it. It kind of just creates the perfect chisel line. So when you contour, you typically want to go on this angle here. It's the top of the ear to the corner of the mouth. I'll use a brush to show you. This is normally like the angle you'd want to go. Every face shape is different. I have a video also on how to contour a round face shape. I will link it up here in case you're curious. I kind of use some of those tips in this video, but I have altered it a little bit since then. And I don't really do any cream contouring anymore just because I want something quick, but I change my mind all the time. So typically you want to go on this angle here, and you want to stop no further than the eyeball. I kind of don't follow that. So I'm going to pick this up on my brush here, tap off the excess, and I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to start creating this line by going back and forth. So I got a line on my face. I'm going to pick up a little bit more product, and I'm going to start wiggling up and down here. I'm actually going a little bit below just so that I don't have a straight up line on my face. Pick up a little bit more, and I face it this way, and I blend it inwards like this. Now, say you have a very angular face and you want to create more of that like cupped cheek or like a round cheek effect. You could take this and swoop it in underneath like this. I personally, for my face, that is the last thing that I want to do because I don't want to create any curves in my face. I'm really trying to create more angles. So here I could stop honestly, but what I like to do is just incorporate a little bit of that round face technique. Now, I've been told that I have a square face, a round face, an oval face, and a heart-shaped face. So whatever you think my face is, that is totally fine. I personally think that regardless of what your face shape is, you can contour however you want, but you can use that as a guideline depending on what your face shape is. Totally up to you. What I like to do is take a little bit of product and I'll bring it down. Kind of like if you smile and you get kind of like those wrinkles there, I just like to drag it in like this and kind of create just like that. I used to make it really, really defined, and that was when I was a little bit heavier and I wanted to create like a super, super, super sculpted face, and that's totally fine. Right now, I just like it to be a little bit more natural looking and use less product. So that's kind of what I will do there. Now, my favorite part is the jawline, because when I gain weight, I gain it under here. And this is where you can like cut off some pounds, you know what I mean? So that's what I like to do. So I'll take it right by the chin here and create this shadow like this. So just draw that and then wiggle it in. And once the product's off, I kind of like to turn it this way and feather. I'm grabbing more product and I'm gonna get right back here. So you kind of have an L going on and then feather it in and down the neck as well. Just a little bit. Now, something that is very important is to kind of go like this. That will help you tremendously. Do that so then you can actually see if you've got this crazy line going on. When you go like this, then you can see it and then you can go and blend it out. So far I'm happy with how that looks. That actually turned out pretty well. A lot of times I have to go in and correct and stuff like that. But it turned out decent. So I'm gonna take a little bit more product and I'm gonna bring this on the forehead. Now, I never ever contour right here because I have a forehead. I don't have a 5 head. I don't have a huge forehead. The only time that I would even recommend putting any product right up here is if you feel like you want to shorten that area. If you don't want to shorten that area, don't put product up here, unless you kind of feel like it. That's up to you. But as far as like creating a more elongated face, or even if you don't want to shorten your face, then you probably don't want to put product here. A lot of people will bring their concealer and highlighters all the way back here. That's totally fine. But for me, I don't want to extend that area just because I feel like I can look wider here personally. So I will actually contour here. So I'm going to bring this product here very lightly. And when I highlight, I'll show you later, but I don't bring it past my eyebrow. So I'm bringing this along the hairline here and feathering it in on my temples. Probably no further than the center of my eyeball, but on my forehead, if that makes sense. So I kind of focus it back here and then flick it inwards. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and repeat this on my left side and then we will move on to the nose. Okay, now that that is contoured, I actually like to go in with my bronzer brush with whatever's left on it, and I really kind of blend out this jawline just to make sure I don't have any lines. I get the forehead again, and just really make sure that everything is nice and blended out. So now we're gonna do some nose contouring. I zoomed in so that you can get a closer look at my nose. Everybody's nose is totally different, so the way that you're gonna contour is gonna be different. If I were you, I would go online and look up nose contouring for your nose shape and stuff like that. My nose is, for the most part, pretty straight. From the side, it has this like shoom, ski jump type deal. So I just like to accentuate it a little bit to make it look just a little bit thinner. You can contour it to make it look like you've got more of that button nose type deal. I feel like mine already does that. So if I do the like button nose thing, I feel like it accentuates the ski jump a little bit more. So I don't do that. I just kind of contour the sides just to make it look a little bit slimmer. If you have a bump in your nose, you want to be very, very careful. Maybe search some videos on YouTube on how to contour for a nose that has a bump, or if you'd like one for me, let me know. I can find someone to do it on so that you can see what that would look like. Lately, I've been loving, this one is from Anastasia. It's the A3 brush. I use the same S116 powder from Makeup Forever, and I pick it up on the A3 brush from Anastasia. And I first like to get under here and just accentuate right here and bring it down that. And then I like to take this from the side like this. You don't want to come like this or anything weird. Just come straight from the side. I get this and I go straight up and down and kind of make that line. Grab a little bit more product and I actually connect it here into the brow. Like right there. Just like that. So now I've got this line that's connecting up into my eyebrow and down straight. Now the hardest part for me is to do the opposite side. So what I do is I actually take my arm and I cross it across my body and bring this in like this. So now it's coming horizontally on this side as well. I know that's so weird, but that is like the only way I can contour my nose and make it actually look decent. So now you've got these lines on your face, right? I'm gonna wipe off the product on my hand and I'm just going to take the brush like this. Now I'm not taking it like this anymore. I'm taking it straight like this and I'm actually buffing that line. I'm not afraid to go over that highlighted area because we can fix that in a minute, but I'm just kind of trying to get rid of the evidence that we contoured, if that makes sense. Just get rid of that line and then take it and blend it down the nose as well, like this. You don't want to blend this down all the way down over here. It's going to actually widen the nose if you do that. So just kind of blend it down, kind of go back and forth too, like this. And then the key is to look from the side and make sure you don't have a line there. Right now is where some people will stop and it looks like, okay, it's like super muddy, you got a lot of product on your nose. What I do is now go into that 124 brush from Smith. You don't have to use this one. You could use another flat brush. And I will pick up the H104 powder from Makeup Forever. Put it in like that, tap off the excess. And now I have to look straight into my mirror and I will bring this right next to where the contour was. You don't want to bring it up too high and cover up where you want that shadow to be, but you want to go right up next to it. So I'm going right here. And I'm gonna go straight down like this and cover up under here and then push it upwards. So now you're highlighting over here. You can also bring it down the center. So now when you look from each side, it looks contoured, but it doesn't look like I contoured it, if that makes sense. So it looks like you've got sculpt going on the nose, but it doesn't look like you got lines on your nose. Okay, so now we can move on to highlighter. My favorite highlighter is the one that comes in the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow palette. I love this shade. It's very natural, but you can make it look more beaming if you want. Now, what gets really confusing is when you hear people say highlight the under eye and they use like a brightening powder under the eye. They don't mean a shimmery powder under the eye. When you set the under eye, you want to use something matte like this because you don't want shimmer here. Usually we have a lot of pores going on in here and the shimmer is going to accentuate that. So I am going to only use this on the very high points of my face. So that for me is right here on this brow bone. You can actually touch and feel where the bone is under the skin. So I'm gonna go into an F35 brush from Sigma. I'm putting it right here on the tip of the brush and I'm gonna tap off the excess and I'm just gonna bring this right here. Now, if you wanted to really lift this area and make it look more like so, you can bring this all the way back into the hairline. But as I mentioned before, I don't like this area on myself to be highlighted. I like it to be more chiseled and kind of like cocooning in my face. So I only bring it to like right here. It's kind of hard because I'm so used to like, so I just kind of wiggle it like here and I'll even connect it up into the brow bone and I don't really bring it down too far either. I don't think I pass my pupil. Now, if you have more oily skin, you can highlight with a matte product. Yes, that is possible and I feel like nobody ever talks about that, but it is totally possible. And if you have very oily skin, sometimes the last thing you want to do is put a shimmery product on your face. So if you want to see a video on how to highlight and contour with all matte products, let me know. I'd love to do that. Now what I do is I'll take my ring finger with that product and I pop a little bit here on the tip of the nose and the bridge, just a little bit. Then I use my brush to blend that out. And I'll also take a little bit here on my Cupid's bow for a little bit of shine. I personally like to highlight before I apply any blush, just because then the highlight kind of peeks out from behind the blush and it looks a little bit more natural that way, in my opinion. I'm gonna be using the Tom Ford blush brush. Love the Tom Ford brushes. I know they're crazy expensive, but they are like gems. I'm gonna be using the MAC Peaches blush, and that I'll just put on the cheeks. And so that is my last step for like my face routine. So this is the completed look close up. You can see it still looks pretty natural, but it definitely is a difference from when I didn't have any contouring and highlighting products on. So I really hope that this video was helpful. Make sure to check out the video down below on how to contour a round face if you're really wanting to try to manipulate the face and create illusions and all that kind of stuff. So I will link that down below. Make sure to check it out. It's got so many tips and tricks in it. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know your requests down below in the comments. Subscribe so that you don't miss out on new videos, and I'll see you later. Bye.